The knock on the door came just as the storm hit its worst. Thunder cracked the skies like an angry whip, and the rain fell in sheets, drenching the front porch of the small countryside house where Christian Parker lived alone with his dog, Buck. He wasn't expecting visitors, not since his divorce 2 years ago, not since he'd retreated from the chaos of the world to this quiet edge of town where the loudest sound was the wind brushing the fields. When he opened the door, he didn't expect to see 3 identical boys, soaked to the bone, their eyes wide with fear and something else. Emptiness. "Please, sir," the tallest one said, voice trembling. "Our stepdad left us. He said you're the only one who might help." Christian blinked. "What?" The boy handed him a note, crumpled and wet. It read, "Their mother's gone. I can't do this anymore. They say you're her cousin. If you have any decency, take them in." Christian stared at the boys. Each with the same mop of wet brown hair, freckles across their noses, and haunting silence behind their eyes. He remembered his ex-wife's voice telling him once, "You're good with kids, Christian. Better than you know." He stepped aside. "Come in." The triplets, Liam, Lucas, and Levi, were 9 years old. Fragile. Quiet. And very, very confused. That first night, Christian gave them blankets, hot cocoa, and space. He let Buck curl up at their feet. They didn't cry. That part broke him most. Kids should cry. Kids should feel safe enough to. But these boys? They didn't even flinch when the thunder cracked again. Over the next few days, Christian called every number he could find: child services, the school district, the boys' old neighbors. But all he got was red tape, cold voices, and long holds. Their mother, Rachel, his distant cousin, had died suddenly 6 months earlier in a car crash. The stepfather, overwhelmed and angry, had simply snapped. And so, the boys were left to someone barely more than a stranger. Christian had never been a father. He was barely managing being a man still rebuilding his own life after the wreckage of divorce. But something about the boys pulled at something deep inside. Something he hadn't known was still alive. He decided, quietly and firmly, that they weren't going anywhere. It wasn't easy. The house that once felt so big for one man now felt small and chaotic with 3 boys. They fought. They clung. They woke up screaming from nightmares Christian couldn't see but felt in his bones. Liam was the leader, protective, guarded. Lucas was the quiet one, artistic, always drawing with broken crayons on any scrap of paper he could find. Levi was the emotional one, the one who cried silently when he thought no one saw. Christian struggled, financially, emotionally, spiritually. There were nights he wondered if he was doing the right thing. Nights he thought about calling someone to take them away, someone more equipped. But every time he saw Levi fall asleep on the couch with Buck curled at his feet, or found another one of Lucas's carefully folded drawings left on his nightstand, or caught Liam watching him with cautious hope in his eyes, he stayed. They all stayed. Winter came fast that year. The old heater broke during a snowstorm. Pipes froze. The boys got sick. Christian spent nights by their beds, cold cloths on hot foreheads, whispering lullabies he barely remembered from his own childhood. He worked double shifts at the local garage to afford their medicine, skipping meals to make sure the boys ate. One evening, after a long day, he came home to find the kitchen a mess, flour everywhere, bowls overturned, eggshells on the floor. And 3 grinning boys holding a lopsided cake with "We love you Dad" scrawled in jelly across the top. Christian sat on the floor and cried for the first time in years. Not from exhaustion, but from love. Spring brought change. The boys began to laugh more. Lucas started entering art contests. Liam joined Little League and made friends. Levi volunteered to help Buck during vet visits, insisting one day he'd become an animal doctor. Christian found himself transforming, too. He stopped smoking. Started attending Sunday service again. Joined the PTA. He wasn't perfect, but he showed up. For them. For himself. One night, after tucking them in, Levi whispered, "Do you think Mom watches us from the stars?" Christian looked at the ceiling, his throat tight. "I think she sees you," he said softly. "And I think she's proud." A year passed. Christian officially adopted the boys on a rainy April morning. The judge asked, "Do you understand the responsibility this carries?" Christian didn't hesitate. "Yes, sir. I've understood it every day for the last 372 days. The triplets stood beside him, all wearing little ties and beaming smiles. When the gavel came down, Christian knew something in him had changed forever. He wasn't just a man surviving anymore. He was a father. The local news later did a story on them. Mechanic dad adopts abandoned triplets. It went viral. People donated clothes, school supplies, even a family vacation to the Grand Canyon. But none of that mattered to Christian nearly as much as what happened one quiet evening at home. They were all sitting on the porch, watching fireflies. Buck was snoring at Christian's feet. Liam leaned over and said, "You saved us, Dad." Christian smiled. "No," he said, looking at them with full eyes. "You saved me." Final message. Sometimes the family you need most finds you when your heart feels empty and your hands feel too full. Love isn't always born, it's built. Through stormy nights, broken pipes, and lopsided cakes, 3 little boys and 1 lonely man became something stronger than fate. A family. Forever.